Hello, fellow Hyruleians! I am your guide, the Hyrule Historian, and welcome back to the Legend of Blue and the Sea of Time, where in the last episode we spent about 3 hours going around to Reefs, fighting off a giant Octorok, and going through the Savage Labyrinth. When in the end, we went to Windfall, found Miss Marie, gave her joy pendants, and yeah, we have the Mirror Shield. And ever since then, Blue has been depressed, since in the last episode we have also encountered the Curse of Endgame. And she doesn't like that, and she's slightly angry at me because of that. So she's been spending her time up here on this hill, trying to think how to make her adventure last even longer. But in this episode, we are going to be heading to 2 places, which one of them may be quite familiar. And on top of that, we have Red here, which I've actually wanted to try something. And that is if we can manage to land within Red from that distance, which that is actually surprising that we could. But yes, we are going to be heading to the place where we first started, or at least going past the place where we first started, which was Headstone Isle, and that is where Dragon Roost was, and the place that Blue wanted to go to from the very beginning. We just kind of jumped into the middle of her adventure at the time. But now her adventure is coming to an end, and, well, there is 2 places to go to. One is a island that we went to early on that we needed the Mirror Shield for, and it just had one Mirror Shield puzzle, and besides that, there is the Earth Temple, which we was only able to make it through the first floor. However, I felt like that was good enough to kind of show the Earth Temple off at least a little bit. But this is going to actually show us if we really need to go through it, or if we can actually make our way to Ganon. Because this could be somewhat of the final episode, and if we are able to make it to Ganon, this may be an extended episode, and I just hope all of you have been enjoying this so far, since it's just, this entire series has had its ups and downs. And I do understand that most episodes may have been slow, but been trying out new tricks and trying to catch up on videos and whatnot. And since Link's Awakening is now out for the Switch, well, we have something more to look forward to, and by now, probably for when this video comes out, you guys will already be watching a handful of those videos. But we must now first make our way through this puzzle, which is not only a slight block puzzle, which most of these block puzzles are straightforward and easy, but some of them can be quite tricky. No Blue. Oh, okay. Yeah, quite tricky, but it's also more tricky if you don't know what you're doing. I know there's... I see it. So, yeah, half of these has more, I guess that's moss growing on it. So, we need to push this all the way over on this side. And pull this little by little. I think I may have already messed up. Oh, you're kidding. I got it the first try. I just didn't pull that block. So now, as Medley would help me do, which would have been a lot easier if Medley decided to come with me. Actually, I think you're able to use Medley, because at the beginning when you go to the Earth Temple, you're supposed to have Medley with you. So, in the long run, this could be the light arrows because we are on the journey to look for the light. And I feel like that's something that a little girl in blue does not want us to do, because she knows her adventure will soon end if that is the case. On top of that, don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but if you walk within these, they're teleporters to like the other sides of the room. So there's the chest there. So if I walk back here, yeah, I'm back here with the chest. Where does that one lead us? I'm curious now. No, I want to say both of them lead you to the chest. Also, interesting design. So now that we got our heart piece, we must now head back to the to the island that is consumed with darkness. I say that, but we're not heading to the Forsaken Fortress, we're heading to the Earth Temple. You know, it's kind of interesting that there are two islands that is consumed by darkness. But I guess it's more consumed by darkness because of the person who runs the Forsaken Fortress. Okay, good. She's with me, and Mr. Grabby is here. Yes, yes, yes. How are you? Not what I wanted, but you know, we don't go very far. Say we didn't go very far. Is Medley here? Medley? Come on, Medley. There's one more place that we have to go since we just wasted about 5 minutes of everybody's time. And Mr. Grabby, get your hands off Medley. She doesn't belong to you. You know, it's interesting how much the floor and wall masters have changed over time. I've honestly wanted nothing to do with them, like, especially in Ocarina of Time. And when I played this game, it's like, I feel like they were fine, but I still didn't want nothing to do with them. It's not because that it's not that they take you back to the beginning of the dungeon, it's just, it's a hand that it's just like out of nowhere. Like, I was going to say dead hand, but he's a completely different nightmare. So in the last episode, I talked about going after giant Octoroks, especially after beating or finding the one that had the Great Fairy randomly. This chart would have helped a lot. And the downside to it is, we can't look at it. We're in a dungeon. It won't let us look at treasure charts while in a dungeon. Just think, that is the only item that we could have got within this dungeon if we was able to control Medley to go into that room. I don't even think that's possible. Hey Medley, you go there, and I go here, and we're gonna shine a light into the Redead's eye. Well, the eyes of the Redead. And also as a reminder, this is, to me, an interesting mechanic. However, you have to be precise. To me, the thing itself just reminds me of the Sun Mask from Majora's Mask, just with a more creepier face. But then it also reminded me of the evil, like the sun in the Mario games. But it's like, that is what I always thought when I was younger. And then recently I've learned that that is more of a redid. Okay, so here are the bubbles that the bubbles won't be affected unless you grab them first, I guess. Ah, stop laughing. Now I can't use my sword or weapons. I have to... Ha! Face that! So, if I am not mistaken, the tingle chest would be in this room. But then I believe there is another chest over here, unless this is where the tingle chest would have been. Oh yeah. And then we have a room filled with Mr. Grabby. I think that's what I'm going to start calling them. They're no longer wall and shadow floor masters. I also want to call them shadow masters for whatever reason. But yeah. Oh, we can watch Medley play her instrument now. So beautiful, but so destructive. Just think, if anybody else made it through here, somehow, they wouldn't be able to get past this room or the other room without having a mirror shield. And speaking of mirror shields, hi friends. I've never wanted anything to do with you, but here we are. Thank you, Master Sword. So, if I'm not mistaken, destroy that. We just need the light arrows. That is it. Bottle of magic, that's always nice. What's in this one? What's under curtain number 2? Absolutely nothing. I'm glad I came. Oh, okay, well, I could have done that. But thank you anyways, Medley. So now, if I'm not mistaken, we must head over here first. Lou, leave. No, I don't want anything to do with you. So, I don't think I needed Medley this entire time when I was over here. Now I must use the Hammer of Justice. Or is it Doom? In any case, it will shoot a beam of light. Okay, you have fun over there. I'm gonna leave you now. Come on, Medley. I'm gonna leave Mr. Handy to himself. So I'm having to question what this mirror over here is for. Was it kind of was it to do the same thing as the first one? Okay, so there are two chests in this room that I remember. And once I get to this chest, which is an orange rupee, the fog will lift. We just need to destroy each of the floor masters and another chest will appear. As long as we do not get caught in the process. You know, I guess this is some sort of gathering of some sort. Because so many different Mr. Handys. Oh great. A random memory just came across. There's a character called Mr. Handy in the Time Spawners games, if anyone remembers those. Also a confusing plot. Camera starts acting funny when you have to when you really have to get up close and personal with those guys. But there we have it. A chest for our greatness. I will treasure it well. Yes! Thank you! Ah, the power of the light arrow. It shines upon us. And this means the dawn of the endgame is here. The great sea of time. It's looking pretty good. I think the sea of time will flow once again. And we won't have to worry about a giant, great ocean. You know what this means, Medley? I can leave you! Should I, though? I mean, at this point, yes, we are halfway through the dungeon. But that means no more items are necessary. Medley! Come here. Why are you back over there? Oh, I didn't know that you would... Okay. Yeah, shooting the pose with light will affect them. Okay, so... this is where I learned something that is supposed to be common sense. Medley can actually follow you. And mirror shields won't work if you look in the opposite direction. Is this this really necessary, you may ask? Nope. But it's better to check if anything's useful behind these statues. And now we can move on to the Hallway of Death. I mean, at least we kind of have an audience, even though they're undead. Does the undead like music? Do bats like music? Or, I'm sorry, Keith. Medley, we must run. Medley, I must leave you. There's a key here somewhere. Or should be. That had to hurt. Silver rupee! Glad I came. Oh, I'm really glad I came. Oh yes, I am truly, truly terrified. Oh yes, it's so good to see you again. The light arrows do not affect the salvos. Need to keep that as a note. Note to self, salvos not weak against light. Weak against Master Sword. And bombs. Why am I worrying about you? Yeah, yes, that is exactly what I thought. You know what? This is... I guess my reason of doing this is because Medley needs to find her true purpose here. She will soon learn that this crypt will be her home. Sad to say, but she is in fact the Earth Sage. Which you would think would make sense if she was the Wind Sage, but no. Now for the most irritating room within the entire dungeon. I already had the boss key, apparently. When did I get that? Because I'm thinking, heart piece, yay! And I'm thinking, where's the key? I mean, you guys seen me before we entered this room. We was right next to the boss door. We were right there. We could have done it. But now, look at us. We must climb out of the depths of insanity. I mean, at least we are bringing light to the world. I mean, this crypt may not need the light, but it has it now. I think this place probably shouldn't have been messed with. Link should do his job much better. Or, thinking about it now, Link may have done his job, and Blue is doing the worst possible thing for a hero. Undoing what the hero has done. Okay. And I'm at full life, so I will see you in a moment.